let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange up on 'em. Bingo bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I am Dale Altman, joined by my co-host with an S, Pork Chop, and the BSG. What's up, ladies?
Hi, how are you, Dale? It's Monday.
Go Reds!
Ooh, I don't know, Greg. I don't know about that one.
New
Still
manager,
159
same
games
team.
left.
What happened?
I had a different background.
Man, let's all jump out one time and look at
You're back.
Oh, it's just me back. Here we go. That's pretty cool. All right.
So for the podcast listeners, when you heard silence, Chop was just looking at that background. It's a tiger.
Dale popped up new background, surprised me in the middle of the thing. I saw the whiskers hanging outside next to Greg.
It's a tiger.
Jack Sawyer at 17. Oh my God. I needed a belly laugh. Woo!
But you know what I need right now?
What do you
Midwest
need?
Best Barbecue and the Chop Shop, proud sponsor of the show. And speaking of the Chop Shop, shout out to Mrs. T. Higgins' mom for buying it, getting her posting the Chop Shop also.
That's right. Mama T.
She didn't have to buy it because, like Chop said, her money was no good there.
She did try to buy it, and I told her money's no good in my shop, and so she recognized that and told me her daughter wants one too. So I'm getting this. I'm currently in the process of getting that size.
Hell yeah.
She said,
But I did go to Midwest yesterday, Greg, and I had some G-Funk, and I had the mac and cheese with my mom.
I was going to say, your mom just had the mac and cheese?
No. She loves the G-Funk wings too.
Ooh.
She said she's had the Dillinator and likes those, and I told her, Dale.
She should have got boneless Grippo.
I told her about the Grippo, but she can't. She's like me. You go in there, you just, man, you got to get the G-Funk.
You got your favorite.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it. It's like me. I don't want to try anything else. I got.
I'll tell you, I don't think she knew about the Grippo because I told her yesterday. I was saying, that Dale really likes the Grippo, and she was like this. She was like, Grippo.
No, you got to try something new just once, man. Just try something new just once.
Well, next time we take her there, if Greg, I messaged Greg like, hey, Greg, meet me and my mom at Midwest Best. And he was like, dude, I just ate and I don't want there. But he could have helped her out. Said, you'd want to try the Grippos too, Polly. He could have said that to her.
Sorry, Polly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, Tina.
Chop loves the mac and cheese. Dustin says, like, now he's in love with Shahad Campbell. I get it. And we could use a linebacker. But the shoulder surgery, is he ready week one? That is like, I was all in. And a torn labrum, and it's like, well, he'll be fine. Sure, he'll be fine, but when will he be on the field? Because it's almost like, I just want to take a damn good player, preferably one that's on the field. But at the end of the day, if Campbell's the best guy on the board, and you think this is a 10-year linebacker, a leader of the linebacking unit, a leader of the team, Al Golden coach linebackers here, if he takes him, I'm going to be like, I believe Al Golden knows what he's doing here. So I'm also not opposed to that. That's kind of what we were talking about. We're going to go over safeties. We put Malaki Starks at 17 because you listen to guys like In on Friday. And, we kind of all been back and forth a little bit between Imanwari or Starks in the first or thinking, well, Xavier Watson the second, Makuba in the second. Do you wait on a safety? Do you get one at all? Because you do have Geno Stone and you have Jordan Battle.
Zach Taylor must have said good shit about Geno Stone, right? Today, didn't he say Geno Stone was coming up?
He likes the direction, but he would not turn down competition for Geno Stone.
What's up to Iceman, Jerome,
up,
Chris,
Iceman?
Tina, everybody in there, Darth, and all the peoples on this fine Monday, rainy, and hopefully everybody's safe. I know there was some bad weather last night. It wasn't too crazy here. We were supposed to have a Project Game Day meeting on stream at 9 o'clock. I fell asleep at 8. I woke up at 11:30, so I missed that. I missed it.
Must not have been a real bad storm out there.
It wasn't, but then I was still awake. It was around 12. It was kind of windy and rainy outside about midnight here, and then I just went back to sleep.
Right.
It didn't bother me.
No.
Nothing bothers you. No. I mean, I couldn't get to sleep because I had lightning coming at my face. I'm not scared of it. I just can't get to sleep.
It's coming at your face.
It's coming at his face.
Why were you laying outside?
The light was right near me. It looked. I had a couple
What
of
a
lightning bolts
wordsmith!
right near my
Coming
house.
in his face.
It was
What a
the lightning
wordsmith
was
is
coming
Greg.
in his face.
He
Yes, it
couldn't
was.
sleep last night because something was coming in his face. It just
Zeus-
happened to be lightning.
Zeus, get away from me!
And what is this guy named Lightning? I've never met him.
Was it
The
Orlando
lightning.
Brown?
Well, no, it was lightning at my face. I'm like, son of a bitch.
It was Orlando Brown. Zeus, Lightning coming in his
Yeah.
face.
Yep. Well, congratulations.
All right. Welcome to Bengals and Brews, where we talk football, man.
Sometimes.
Lightning, what's up?
Yeah.
But yeah, Malaki Starks,
Yeah.
safeties. We'll look at some different safeties, right? We don't know what they're going to do for sure. Geno Stone, even if he is the plan for this year, or maybe he's got a battle in camp, or maybe if they draft the right guy, they plan on releasing Geno Stone and then just not using the money because that would be a Bengals thing to do.
Right.
Why have foresight when you can?
Yeah, it's terrible.
But yeah, so I would think if they would draft a guy like Starks, though, they would want him to get on the field pretty damn soon. I can't see Geno Stone keeping a guy like Malaki Starks off the field. But hey, we've seen crazier things that the Bengals do, so nothing would surprise me. But he's a guy who can move all around. 5-star recruit. Has played 3 straight years at Georgia. You can line him up in the slot. You can play him multiple different alignments. Deep safety. You can put him up on the line and press man. You can do a lot of things with Malaki Starks. So I'm a big fan of him. He's been productive. Good ball awareness, good ball skills when the ball's in the air, which is something, you kind of worry about guys that come in. I think Dax Hill needed to work on that. I think DJ Turner needed to work on that. Maybe it's a Michigan guy thing. I don't know. But
Right. Hey, let me ask you this because I know this is going to be your next guy. I don't want to get ahead of the card or whatever, but I'm just wondering why Malaki Starks over Nick Emmanuel?
well, I think the fit for the Bengals specifically when we're talking Bengals, because I think he's more the in-the-box guy like Jordan Battle is also going to be. If you're just putting a broad label on it.
Yeah.
And they're both more strong safety than free safeties, in my opinion. So I think the better fit to pair with a Jordan Battle for the future would probably be Starks. And that's why I kind of lean toward him, or even like Watts, I think fits that role in the second, or a Makuba. But Makuba and Starks definitely have just incredible coverage ability. Watts is good in coverage, but he's a ball hawk more than he's like I want him one-on-one situation, where I feel like Makuba and Starks are guys that could, if they're manned up on a receiver going down the field, I feel good about their chances of making a play there.
Well, no,
Okay.
I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here with Starks. I mean, could you make an argument? And I love Starks. I still like him over Morey, but you can make an argument. Starks had a good defensive line. Could that come into play? Because even Morey didn't really. He had some talent around him, but
I was going to say, definitely got to say, South Carolina had a lot of talent. Dylan Stewart, the freshman, but then also Kyle Kennard, who I think could be a second-round pick in this draft at edge. They had some good D tackles, T.J. Sanders, Tonka Hemingway, that are going to be in this draft as well. So there was, and even the linebacker Demetrius Knight from South Carolina. He's a guy who's right now like my linebacker 3 behind Swessinger and Campbell. So there are some good players on that defense. But yeah, Georgia's always loaded. But I will say another thing. Yeah, they're loaded, but I also look at like their corners and the guys coming in the NFL. Those guys seem to do really well. Lassiter, people was worried about his athleticism and stuff, and he comes in for the Texans right away and makes an impact at corner. Yeah. And I think that Starks would do just the same at safety. So the guys they've been putting in the league there, they must have I always think, well, they probably have a good secondary coach. You don't want to helmet scout stuff like that always, but Iowa tends to put good tight ends in the league. They probably have some good tight end coaches. It's just.
Who was the other safety that, remember Dax Hill? It was Dax Hill. Who was the safety after Dax Hill that also came out of Georgia? You know who I'm talking about, that draft. What was his name? I want to know how
he's been a couple, man. There was a guy last year too, and I think he had a decent season. He didn't test super well, and he was smaller. But they always have a couple secondary guys, whether it's corner or safety.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just curious. Okay. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, that's just what I was thinking to myself. But like you pointed out, even Rory, he had some damn good talent around him as well.
Yeah, and Nick Emmanwori, though, the thing with him being 6'3", 220, so it's almost like you use him like an extra linebacker because we could kind of use a linebacker too, Could he end up being
Yeah.
almost a linebacker. Who are you thinking of, Greg?
Lewis Klein.
And isn't he like a badass tackler and good against the run? Emmanuel? I'm never going to say that name right.
Yeah, but like Ian said, there's still times where like he comes up and like the run fits and stuff like that, and he doesn't necessarily take proper angles. His pursuit angles and stuff isn't always the best. And Starks seems to do that stuff a little better. And it's like, even though Emmanuel tested like a freak and Starks tested very mediocre, like closer to like 6 RAS, 5.5. And it's like, oh, that's not good. But it's the way he moves on the field. Like his actual play speed and, the way he's got good feet, as you say. And that's why I think he covers so well, because those are things you want to see: good hips, good feet, so he can turn and run with these guys. And the ball skills obviously helps. And Imam Mori, I'm not saying he's awful at those things, but I just think Starks is better in all of that, which we could probably use to pair with Battle a little.
How did Makuba test?
I think he tested pretty well. I don't know if I have that.
I mean, all three of these guys, we're talking about possible first round, right?
No, I think Makuba is going to be second. Some of these simulators, he's going in like the third, but I think he's in the conversation with Xavier Watts, really. I think it's probably Starks and Imam Wari go 1 and 2, depends probably what a team needs, what type of safety they're looking for in the first round. And then after that, I think Watts and Makuba both go in the second. At what point in the second, who knows, right? That could be the thing. Like, somebody could take Watts early, and then I think if they do, somebody's going to be like, oh, shit, I better get Makuba now.
Right. Yep.
But if they fall, if one of them falls to 49, I can see the Bengals taking that one.
I personally feel like if we don't take Starks or Emmanuel, God dang, Emmanuel, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Emmanuel. So if we don't take Starks or Emmanuel in the first round, I think that probably out of the two, Watts is the better pick in the second, just because of his also previous continuity with Al Golden is a big thing. I feel like, but I haven't, before the show, I did watch some stuff on Malaki Starks and also Nick Emmanuel and Xavier Watts.
Yeah, but Dale, going back to what you're saying, like Emmanuel Wari, like better fit. Like I say, Emmanuel just has to be a strong safety like Battle, and so you want someone to be more of a free safety with Starks. And like I say, am I going to bitch if we take him Wari? Absolutely not. I will never bitch about that. But yeah, Starks. Like I say, man, at one point, Dale, I was thinking you were going to put even more in front of Starks too. At one point,
yeah, and I was considering. I think and that's part of the process. You say, I'm not going to overreact to the testing, but then someone goes out and has the combine like Emmanuel has, and you go, okay, I'm going to overreact for a little while. So there was a week or two that I was like, all right, I think I'm going to put Emmanuel above him, and then you settle down off the combine, you watch more tape. You watch the players again and you go, all right, no, there's a reason I like Starks more in the first place. And I'm going to stick with Starks as my safety one. And I don't think that's going to change, because if I was going to do it, I would have rode the high and had that now from the combine, because that was an incredible performance. A 10 RAS. I mean, it's one of the greatest on-field performances. Oh, yeah. And they weren't comparing him to safeties. They were comparing him with like DK Metcalf.
And remember, the guys that don't test great on the RAS that do good in the NFL, those are outliers. That's what always comes to my head
safety,
too when we
it's
think
not,
about it.
For some positions more than others. At safety, not so much, because like somebody had like some of the best ones, include Jesse Bates had like a 7. It's the way he moves on the field, though, his ball skills, his ability to just cover, his instincts. I mean,
if that guy was any good, though, we would have kept him, Dale. That guy was any good, we would have kept him.
Right. He sucks because why did they get rid of him?
And just for Jeff, I don't know about Greg, but I know me and Dale, Walter Nolan is our guy at 17. The show's labeled Malaki Starks at 17.
Yeah.
So we're just discussing the possibility.
Yeah.
Which is a good possibility. I mean,
he was thinking about you, Ryan. He definitely meant Starks, but I heard it too, and I didn't correct him. I knew you would.
Yeah, I knew it. I saw Sparks down there. Yeah. Hey, look, man, I got Emmanuel right. I can't get both names right in the same sentence. It's a rule. So
I'll tell you guys why I'm not getting excited. I want Walter Nolan. I just don't know if the Bengals. I think they would take Harmon over Nolan. It just sounds like something the Bengals would do.
I'm not sure they'd take either, because I go back to, once again, 1994 is the last time they took a defensive tackle at all. And every year I feel like we're saying, dang, you got to get one of these pass rushing D tackles in the first round. And every year the draft comes and it goes through the first round, and we did not sniff one at all. We took another position.
No, I mean, if you look at our track record, if Nolan and Harmon are there, and Will Johnson's there, chances are we probably would take Will Johnson, and I'd be okay with that too. But I would rather much have Nolan or Harmon. I would even take Harmon almost over Will Johnson.
Will Johnson to me would be like a punch in the gut that I'd quickly recover from. I'd be like, oh, all right.
No, I would too.
I mean, come on.
Because we know Jay Gruden, when we had him on, he says you never want to turn down a potential shutdown corner. I won't bitch about that either. But yeah, I mean, but I prefer Nolan over. But the point I'm making is I would like to have a pass rushing DT over a corner right now. But you know me, I've been saying forever about corners, so that would go against what I say also, I guess, at times.
But it does come down to if Will Johnson's the best player on the board, on their board, you can't be mad when they take that at 17 because you're picking at 17. You know, if it's like, all right, he is clearing away. We've got like a top 10 grade on this kid. He's here at 17. We're just going to take him. And yeah, we like the young talent we have, but we just think this guy could be special. So you never want to take somebody less than a player that you think can be special. You know, you always want to take that guy and you worry about when he gets on the field. But I mean, we hope both things happen, right? It's a guy that can get on the field immediately and it's a special talent.
Yeah.
Like I think Mike Green still would be perfect for what the Bengals need to add to the pass rush, but it's the off-field stuff with him. So there's still a giant question mark. Walter Nolan, James Pierce, I love those guys. I think they'd be good picks. Still question marks with motivation and, you know, their want to on the football field apparently, or in practice, whatever reason that this character stuff's floated out about them.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
But like I say, you know, Malaki Starks, I mean, like I said, the safety class is very fascinating to me. But yeah, I would really have to sit down and think about where I would put Starks. Just with the safety position compared to the other, I'm not saying we're set at the safety position, but compared to the other positions we have on defense, offensive line, we're in a good spot there in the safety position. But I still want to take one. Really
well, and that's the thing. We don't know how the Bengals view this, right? Because you can look at just bodies. I think it was Will that was mentioning, you know, are they investing in a fifth interior D lineman on a multi-year deal in a single calendar year? Because they did re-sign BJ for 3 years. TJ Slayton's a 2-year deal. They did just draft Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson last year. Yeah. Now, we think they need another pass rusher as Bengals fans, but for all we know, they're thinking Chris Jenkins, McKinley Jackson, they're all going to take that step along with BJ Hill back and healthy. I don't know if that's their thought or it's like, hey, we've got TJ Slayton here commanding double teams. That's going to free up those 3 other guys when they're on the field when he's in there with them.
Well, also Joseph Osai rushes from the interior also at times, doesn't he?
I mean, I think he could. I think Murphy could. I don't know how often they have done it or what Al Golden's plan is, but it's always a possibility that you could do that. And, you know, same thing with edge. So it's just a good conversation to have because we're saying the safety position is set. I don't know if it is. Maybe it is.
I do.
I don't think it is. You could say a similar thing about D-tackle just based on the guys that are here on multi-year contracts. You know, in their eyes, they may say we have our top 4 set. I hope not because I still think they need another pass rusher. Same thing with edge, right? If they think they get Hendrickson back, Hendrickson, Murphy, Osai, Cedric Johnson. In their mind, that may be their top 4. They may think that they're too deep a set there, basically. They shouldn't feel that way, but.
And speaking of Hendrickson, it's, you know, Zach Taylor said, just be patient, I guess. I mean, it's really nothing new, right? And
no, we're not going to get an update now, right? Because Katie's also down there, and isn't Katie speaking with the media or something?
Yeah, I don't know when, but yes.
So she's going to be down there too, and we know she's the one doing the contract, so we're not going to have any Hendrickson update this week, I imagine.
But hey, shout out to Brad Robbins though for signing a 1-year deal with the Bills. By the way,
Brad Robbins,
man, I was sleeping. The mustache is gone.
The mustachioed masher is see. There's Punt God is there. You know that whatever his name is. We just everyone called him Punt God.
Yeah.
No, he's not there, is he?
No,
he ended up with the Chiefs. Yeah,
the Chiefs.
Yeah. Okay. When I seen Bills, I thought of him because they drafted him. Then they cut him because he still had those allegations. And then he's with Kansas City. So I don't know who the Bills punter is. So maybe he actually gets a fair shake there. Damn, it wrecked my whole joke because I was thinking about that earlier. And I was like, I was going to say Brad Robbins is now punt Thanos and he's going to crush
Weston
the punt.
says he can go suck for the Bills.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, good luck to Brad Robbins.
Nice guy.
Man. He's
He's a
always
good
been a
guy.
good dude. You know, I was walking through Great American Ballpark and he yelled my name, and so that's fucking weird. That's the first
That's
time
awesome.
I've ever had. You might say just a punter, but that's just weird to me that I'm walking through somewhere and someone yells, "Hey, pork chop!" and I turn around, it's the fucking guy that plays for the Bengals. So that was a pretty cool moment. So, and being on the show and for your lovely mustache, thank you. But when we play you, I hope your punts aren't as good as
Or
the
we
rest
block
of
the
the
punt,
season.
if
Well,
you're
to another shop. You know Linda Brown, who remembered you one time also.
Yeah, I do. He gave me a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So back to safety. So Iman Mori, I feel like we talked about quite a bit. Obviously, athleticism, and we kind of talked about him and Starks. So Watts is the next guy, right? 6 foot, 204. The thing that you really like is the ball skills. 13 interceptions in the last 2 seasons combined. I mean, that's just incredible production. Most corners don't have that kind of production.
Right.
And safeties honestly do. Because safeties can play back and read the quarterback and make the plays. But still, it's great production, great ball skills. Another guy who didn't test that well, but it was in the 7s. It's honestly good enough to me. And his coverage grade was almost a 90 per PFF this year. So there's a lot to like with Watts and getting him in here, pairing him back up with Al Golden. He's not the fastest guy, but he still ran like a 4 or 5 something. I think that's around what Jordan Battle ran. So you wouldn't have any speedsters back there. But once again, I think instincts are more important. And obviously, Xavier Watts has shown how instinctive he is. Those interception numbers say it for themselves, really. And he's still one thing that I have is he's still relatively new to the safety position. He's played it a lot at Notre Dame, but he was originally brought there to play wide receiver. So it kind of goes along with his ball skills, right? He was that good. And Greg, I know you get excited with these players that multi-position guys. You know, you liked it with the running back last year.
Yeah, no, Tyrone Tracy and LaQuinn Allen this year. And Richard Sherman was also a wide receiver, started out in college also, so keep that in mind.
Did he play the slot?
Receiver. He was a wide receiver, but then they even started to move and try him out some at linebacker, which is kind of crazy because he's 204. Like, that would have been a very undersized linebacker, but
exactly.
maybe he had dropped down, whatever, from his being a wide receiver. But it's definitely something very interesting.
What's his missed tackle rate? Do you know that?
17.7%.
Is that high? That sounds a little high. Is that high?
It is high. But like I said, you know, like a guy like Harmon's at like 27, 28, different positions. But
what's Malaki Starks?
I don't think I have his off the top of my head.
I mean, I just wondered for comparison, like talking our number 1 guy down to number 3.
Yeah, I don't have them all in front of me, but 17.7, it's definitely something I put in the cons list, you know. So it is high. I usually kind of anything over 15% I think is high. 10 to 15, you see a lot of guys. If it's under 10%, I consider it good, basically. 10 to 15% is like your average, in my opinion. Below 10 is good. Above 15, I think, is a high missed tackle rate.
All right.
So he has 17. So it's not super above the average, but it did improve. That's something I put down. It improved a lot during the playoffs. So when he was locked in for their playoff run, it was much, much lower during those 3 or 4 games that they had.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot to like with him, and pairing him with Golden makes a lot of sense. And then Makuba, definitely different body types, but an excellent coverage guy. So the only thing with Makuba, one of the biggest knocks with him, and it's always been this. That's why I wonder if he'd be a slot corner, but I just think he's so much better as a safety because he played a lot of slot corner at Clemson. He's only like 185. So that's pretty small for a safety. 5'11", 186, 185, basically. But his ball skills, ball tracking, his just his coverage ability, because you can put him down in the slot to cover a guy during a play. He could play back at deep safety if you needed him to. But he just needs, you want to see him add maybe at least 5 pounds to his frame and just be a little stronger in general. But he'll tackle you. Like, it's not like that keeps him from being aggressive and hitting the shit out of somebody. He'll still.
So would Emmanuel Forbes. Remember?
Well,
that fucking guy would tackle people too. He burnt me on that skinny guy shit. Fuck all that.
Yeah, there's a big difference between 186 and 166.
Just one.
Just 100 pounds,
just
like
one.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Makuba a lot. Like I said, he's my safety 4. And then after that, you get a guy like Winston, who's probably more similar to Iman Mori, 6'1", 215. So he's kind of even bigger. body size. Eamon Warry's 220. So those are probably going to be more of your strong safety types. But I do think he has good ball skills. If he didn't get injured this year, I think he's a very good player. He's a good athlete. He tested well, and he already tested. So that's a good thing when you're coming off an ACL tear from early in the season that he already seems to be able to test. So he's probably going to be good to go for spring ball and stuff like that when camp opens for rookies.
All right.
There you go.
Well, give me a third round guy, Dale.
I mean, I think Winston probably is the third round guy, and then another one is like Lathan Ransom that I think could go in the third from Ohio State, 6 foot 206.
I mean, hold on. Let me just say this though. With Winston, though, you were talking about he's the same as Eman Warry, and that would not pair good with Jordan Battle, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think he could do it more. I mean, that's the thing. There's like no tape from this year. It's all tape from 2023, basically, for Winston. And I did like him quite a bit in that tape. So it's one of those things like, how much would you? I'm not a big Jalen Reed fan. That's the other Penn State guy. I think he's like maybe a fifth round kind of guy. Not just, I don't know, man. It's just, he misses way too many tackles. I don't know that rate off the top of my head, but it's not great. Another guy I think we've mocked to us before, I'll just say like a day 3 guy, Malachi Moore, Alabama, because I think he has played with Jordan Battle literally because he was a 4-year starter at Bama. 5'11", 196, that's good enough size, it's 10 pounds heavier, but moves well. 5-year contributor at Bama, 4 years as a starter, almost a 90 coverage grade, physical tackler, good football IQ. Really short arms though, which is kind of, you worry about that for, because he'll hit you, but will he always wrap up? Because guys with shorter arms, they don't always finish tackles. It's also sometimes a problem in coverage. His arm length is under 30.
Jesus, that is short.
That is very short.
I mean, a lot of times they talk about people with short arms at 32, 33 inches.
Well, that's for linemen. Yeah. But still, you would like to see a guy above 30 at minimum. So 29 and 5/8 inch arm length is.
You know what they say about short arms, man? Short sleeves. They got short sleeves.
That is what they say.
It's a very popular saying.
I'll mention one more guy on the safeties here because it's a guy I imagine you're going to hear Joe Goodberry talking about a lot more. I feel like he's going to be very high on their board. I've got like a fourth, fifth round, but a lot of people like him. He tested better than expected. 6'2", 213. It's Hunter Wohler from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might be the one. I could have swore that he was doing I thought it was Nebraska, but it was Wisconsin. He's real high on that guy, right?
Yes, he's very high on this guy. He said he's much higher than the consensus. I'm closer to the consensus. I think I'm higher than the consensus because some of the consensus has him like 6th round, and I think I have him like 4th. But I think Goodberry's probably going to have him like a 2nd round grade on this guy or something.
Jeez.
I mean, we'll see when Joe's stuff comes out soon with him and Sands and Lisco. And
you said what's the guy's name?
Hunter Wohler.
And tell me about him as far from your breakdown.
So, I mean, production-wise, he's been super productive, especially last year. This guy had 120 freaking tackles last year.
Jeez,
so you're talking about flying around, making plays. This year didn't have as many tackles, but he still has 71. 71 is still a boatload of tackles for anybody. So didn't quite have
0, just for reference.
And 6 passes defense. Those are both in both seasons, the last 2 seasons. So that's a good number. Doesn't have a lot of interceptions. So this year he didn't have any, but last year he had 2. So like last year, highly productive with 120 tackles and 2 interceptions. Good player. He's got good instincts. The athleticism, I didn't think he was going to test well. That was like one thing that I didn't expect. I was like, I don't know how athletic this guy is. But he had a 9.55 relative athletic score. So
does he play more of the strong or free safety?
I think he plays more of a free safety, but I really feel like at his size, he could do either one. Like he's versatile enough to do either one.
And
you
got
can
this
put him
guy
in the box. You can put him in coverage because he's very instinctive in coverage.
Did you say this? You got this guy 5th or 6th round?
Like fourth / 5th. Okay. So yeah, I think if you got to day 3. That would be like good value to get him, in the 4th, like because we're picking 17th, and I assume also in that round, somewhere in that range, probably. middle of the 4th, I think would be good value. I don't think I would love it if it was second or third round for this guy. Like if I'm taking a safety, I almost want us to go in the first 2 rounds or wait till the 4th or 5th to take one or not take one at all.
Yeah.
Because let's get a guy that's going to be an improvement from Geno Stone. Like
Well,
let's actually fix the position for let's no more Nick Scott, no more Von Bell in his second term, no more Geno Stone. Let's get a guy to pair with Jordan Battle and have it fixed if we're going to take one.
And this guy safety, I want to know, could this be my quarterback of my defense of the future? Could this be like the Jesse Bates type of leader on your defense in the future, you know?
Well, maybe, Xavier Watts could be that for sure, but this guy, you said Wohler, is that his last name?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like you, Dale. If we don't get, I don't want a safety in the first 2 rounds because, well, it's Xavier Watts, but you sold me on that fucking linebacker from UCLA, Carl Swishinger. Yeah. So my first 2 picks are Walter Nolan and Carlton Swishinger, right?
Is it Carlton? You almost sounded like Rick Grimes there. Carl.
Carl. I think it's Carlton Swishinger, right? Anyway,
Carson
Swishinger.
Yeah.
Those are my first 2 picks, so I'd rather wait. So I'm looking for a safety like this guy from Wisconsin. Sounds like he could come in. Now, you said be an improvement on Geno Stone. Do you think this guy has a possibility of beating out Geno Stone in camp?
See, this one I think they would keep Geno for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he competes, but I think if it was a Starks or a Watts, I feel like it would almost be like them expecting those guys to beat Stone out, where I think this would be all through preseason, and maybe this guy gets a shot, but Geno maybe does it for this year. Maybe if Geno's not playing well like last year, the first half of the year, maybe this guy comes in halfway. But I do think if you got this guy, because where I think I would take him is around the 4th round. So if I'm bringing a guy in the 4th, I'd probably give Geno Stone 1 more year. Okay. But if he's not playing like he was the second half of the season, then I'm trying somebody else, whether it's him, whether it's Dejon Anthony. Because I still think Dejon or Tyson Anderson can play here, but it's just a matter of will they ever get an opportunity to do so?
Yeah.
And they really liked Dejon Anthony last year. That's all we heard about in camp. And they had him in that damn Chiefs game. And then it's like, all right, is this another Osai situation? It's going to take this guy 2 years before we see him start to do anything again.
Yeah. Well, I do not want Geno Stone starting, but I do think that there's better pieces to make a bigger impact to pick up in the draft. And just go watch tape on that Carson Swishinger. I'm telling you, that dude is a badass. If we had him in here at linebacker, that would make it easier on our secondary.
Okay.
If we had Walter Nolan in here, that would make it easier on our secondaries. Our secondary would improve. If you get these 2 players in your first and second round, it's going to improve the secondary with the same players.
Dale, I'll just ask you straight up. Do you option A or option B here? Option A is Starks and the BC guy you like.
I don't think you're getting him in the second. I think he's going late first, man. I can't see him. I can't see him getting past the Lions.
Okay, Princely. Let's go Princely, the guy you like. So Starks and Princely, or I guess you could put him the same guy.
Well, if we're doing edge, you could say Mike Green.
Mike Green. Okay, Mike Green.
I know Top Dart don't want Mike Green because off field. But this you're asking me.
But just ignoring the off field, like not knowing the off field.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Green and Watts
versus
Starks and Princely.
Yeah.
Man, I'd probably go Starks and Princely just because I really like Princely. I'm kind of like Ryan Sparks that comes on here. I think he's still underrated. There was just a lot I liked about him. I know he's a 5th-year guy, but what he did at Ole Miss this year after transferring from Florida was impressive. He's one of the true has bend and flexibility around the edge. Not everyone does. You see flashes of it, but he consistently has it. And I mean, his pass rush win rate was
what was the
high
second?
20s.
I was reading the comments. So the second pick was who?
Presley and Monmi Ellen would have been the. So I said I would go with Starks and Princely over Mike Green and Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about
you would also?
What about Walter Nolan? What about Walter Nolan and Xavier Watts?
I would probably go Walter Nolan and Xavier Watts just because I have an irrational love still for Walter Nolan that I think he could be special. And I think you have to get your pass rushing D tackles in the first round. Like history tells us that. You know, I mean, when I did that and showed that, it surprised me. I figured, yeah, you get a lot of them in the first. I didn't realize it was going to be like 13 out of 15 guys with 6.5 sacks or more were drafted in the first round. Like almost all of the really good defensive tackles get drafted in the first round. It's
just how it is.
For pass rush.
Well, you know, Dale, we kind of started it with Geno Atkins because that led to Aaron Donald being in the first round. But we kind of started the whole thing with Geno Atkins, even though we got him in the fourth.
Sorry, I probably missed a lot of comments.
That's definitely true, right?
But I think that is true. That Walter Nolan is my Yoshi.
Yoshi. Hey, I'm jumping on that Yoshi too, man.
Yeah, I'll have more fun with this.
I think Carson Schlesinger might be your.
He might be, dude. Okay, I love Dale, that
say
guy.
If Newton was in the same draft right now as Nolan, who would you take if it was
Johnny Newton? Johnny fucking Newton.
It's so hard because I had him similar.
No, there's no. You have to answer.
That's what kind of scares me because it's like Newton went in the second round. He was injured. And he didn't do much this year. Like he still had a pretty good win rate.
Ignoring the rookie season he had.
But I can't.
No.
Because it makes me worry that I'm too high on Nolan because most people like Harmon more than Nolan.
Right. Well, you could compare Harmon to Murphy.
I don't know. Like Greg, honestly, they were both fairly similar. I could go back and look at the grade from last year. I'll do that at some point and give you the actual answer because whatever grade I had on is probably the one that I feel like I would take. And it very well could be Newton, but I don't think it's very far off. I think I have similar grades on those guys, to be honest.
Right. Fair
enough. What you got circulating back there, Chop?
It's Monday.
So you're getting your mock draft fix. I thought maybe you go to Twitter. That's what I was thinking about doing. And typing in Carson Schlesinger.
Go to Twitter. I'll find Twitter.
Seeing if I can show people that game I clipped up of him because I know that you're very high on this guy at linebacker. I know this isn't a safety, but you know this is part of the conversation that it went into because you were saying that you would rather have a Schlesinger in the second. Would you rather have him over Xavier Watts, Chop?
Yes. In the second round, if he's there in the second round, I think I do. I think he's a bigger impact on our defense than Xavier Watts.
Well, maybe I can't do that. All right.
I don't know how to search shit on. Oh, search.
Well, there's a way to put like a person's name in there, but that's not coming up for me either because I was trying to do it too. Let's do the damn mock draft. It's fine. People can go.
It's mock draft Monday.
All right, let me go back to that then. All right, I'm gonna add it to the stage, and I'm gonna
beat you to it.
So I'm gonna disappear because I'm gonna go to that screen so I can see everything going on, and I'm gonna hit start. All right, boom, we're off. We're drafting. Well, there goes Travis Hunter. God,
Genty's there. Genty's there.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't have to have that conversation because that one is going around Twitter about Genty, and it's like, guys, I just don't even want to entertain it personally. You know, he's probably not going to be there, and then I don't care because I just know he's going to be gone. Let's just not talk about it.
Every safety is there.
Let's take Starks. Let's just take Starks because it's the safety Monday.
I mean, we can. You want to do that? We're able to show that.
Yeah.
So this is the route of where we take Malaki Starks, and then
all right.
If you take a safety this high at 17 with no trade down,
right?
How do you hit the rest of your needs, knowing that guard is a pretty big one because Zach Taylor came out today and said they're done till the draft, which is not what we want.
You see, Walter Nolan just got taken.
Wow.
All right, so let's see what safeties are still here at 49. So we still got Makuba and Kevin Winston, right? But Makuba sounds more like the pick here just because you said he could play free safety.
Well, would have been the pick.
Would have been the pick, right. Although, also, look at this. He's the 89th ranked player on this draft board, and we're picking at 49.
It's just not.
I'm just saying for value on this draft board.
Right. But you heard and we probably should have done Pro Football Network to shout out.
Bro,
the guy
this
again.
fucking cornerback here that's sitting at the top though is a badass. Like if you, he's good, right?
Yeah, I like Hairston from
I
Kentucky.
mean,
He
if
was
it
injured
weren't for the
this
injury,
year, but yeah, five interceptions last year. I don't know if teams will try to move him in just because he is smaller in general, size-wise. I don't know if he's 5'10" or what, but I know he was listed at 165 at one point. Like, but now I think he's up to like 180. But it's like, what's he actually play at? Probably somewhere in the 170s. So I could see him maybe end up being a slot corner in the NFL just because of his size.
Well, Dale, one of the top 30 visits is right here. Ezeri, big guy to Minnesota. Would you be mad if we took him in the second round?
Yeah, Ursery. Yeah, because I still have him listed as a tackle because I think a team could play him there. I think there's not going to be a lot of second round tackles like him and Cam Williams, really like the only two, because I think most other guys could go in the first there. But Ursery, if we get him, I think we're definitely kicking him inside to play guard here, and I feel like he could probably do it. I mean, I don't think that would be a crazy pick at this point.
oh,
What do we have at D-line? Because since we went with a safety.
Tyreek
yeah.
Williams, Alfred
Deion Walker's
Walker,
there. Turner.
nothing.
Yeah, because the top two are Tyreek Williams and Alfred Collins. I think
Right.
they're both run stuffers. I'm still not super comfortable with Deion Walker, even if this was a round later. So I certainly wouldn't be comfortable with it in the second. Edge, we got Jack Sawyer. I like Princely more than Jack, but
Yeah.
No, hey,
Jack
Dale,
is coming in for a visit. So
Yeah.
I mean, I like that Princely, and then I'm just going to point out that our boy Ian was really high on Braden Swinson too. He said he's coming up.
yeah, I feel like he's in his top 50, and on here he's ranked, like 78.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Where else we want to look?
But Stewart, Michigan connection.
Oh,
there you go.
There
You've
he
been
is.
talking about him the whole time, Chop. So you can't quit this guy, Carson Swessinger. And people at this point would probably be pulling their hair out though, because they're going, "You took a safety and a linebacker."
Yeah, I
think if you took a linebacker this early, because it didn't sound like Jermaine Pratt, like Zach said, we're working through it. Didn't say, "Yeah, we're going to keep him."
Right.
That didn't sound real great. But I don't know what the hell their plan is there.
If you get this guy in the second round, Jermaine Pratt's getting traded during the draft, and we're going to pick up a 6th or 7th round pick.
Or you take him and teams aren't even going to trade for him at that point because they know you're going to release him too.
That's a possibility too, yeah. Anyway, if you're going to win,
look at guard.
this is a good move if you're going to win.
Savanaia would be a good pick here too. So would Ursery. We haven't taken Ursery at all, and he's listed with the tackles. And obviously Tate Ratledge here, I think, is going to be in play in real life at 49, even though he's listed lower on here.
Yep.
But if we go back to O-tackle, Chop, because Ursery is one of the highest guys on this board that's left. He's 42 on this simulator. I think we're asking him to move inside, probably playing right guard, because I'm pretty sure he played right tackle. So you just keep him on the right side there. You let everybody else compete on the left side. Cody Ford, Lucas Patrick, Cordell Wilson, all those guys have played left guard. And plus Ford competing on that side, being paired back up with Brown. I thought he looked decent in the 1 or 2 games we got to see that pairing. So I'd feel a little bit better if they think Ursery can be a day one starter at right guard. And then you got a big some bitch right side of your line as well, because you got Ursery at like 6'6", 330, whatever he is, and Mims on that right side.
Right. Is that who we're taking?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. It's a good pick, man. Protect the asset.
Because I think they're going to go guard early. I do. I think maybe in round 1, like we were talking about before the show, Kelvin Banks, a lot of people are talking about, if he falls to 17, he could be BPA. And I think he could play left tackle.
Oh,
Princely's still there. Yeah, Princely's still there.
Dang, look, and Mason Taylor. Oh, that's hard. What else? Let's look at other positions too, though.
Yeah.
Let's go to safety one time real quick, since we're doing a show on safeties, and this is what we got left in third round.
Yeah, so Winston, and he doesn't necessarily fit the type, but I still wouldn't be opposed to him in the third round because I just think he's a very good player, going to be a very good player.
There's old Hunter Warler. We can pick him up at the very end, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this draft.
Yeah.
Hey,
But yeah.
Dale, I could see guard round 2 and 3, honestly.
Yeah. We haven't taken a D tackle. I wish I knew about Omar Norman Lott's knee, how bad it is. Because I think he would still be fun in the 3rd round, just because it's pure pass rush. Go get after it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'd ask him to do. Shamar Turner, I didn't like his pass rush this year, but he's another guy. I think the Bengals are going to like him more than I do.
Ooh.
Tate's still
I know
there.
we took the right guy. Tate Ratledge is a right guard. And we took
double down, Dale.
You take double down on the same position, Greg?
Yes.
On the same position, like right guard.
You want to talk about big guys? Oh, man, we'll have the Chop. All these guys would not be allowed the same elevator because they would all weigh too much.
Dale, how hard is it for one of them to switch to the left side?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't think it would necessarily be that difficult, especially Ratledge has played on the interior O line. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to double up.
We got other guys down here too. You still got Miles. You got
Fairchild.
Chance we're gonna
Dylan
have
Fairchild from Georgia. Clipped him up yesterday. His game versus Kentucky. Good player. I think he's played left
power
guard.
peanut.
Yeah.
All right, what position we looking at? Tight end. Mason Taylor, Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, if they were going to take a tight end here, it'd be Mason Taylor. That's another position I think in the Bengals' head they're set at. They brought back Tanner Hudson. Tanner McLaughlin, the coach was on with Lapham talking him up, the tight end coach, James Casey. So I think that they think they're more set at tight end than us as fans, and they brought back Gesicki. So linebackers, Swessiger clearly gone here. Demetrius Knight is a fun player, more of a throwback thumper kind of linebacker, but he can cover a little bit too. 6th-year guy, so he's bounced around at multiple schools. He might have been another one as at Georgia Tech. Then he was at Charlotte and then South Carolina. So he's definitely bounced around some. Wouldn't be a bad pick here. You're going to look at corner.
Sure.
Yeah, I like Parrish, but he may also slide inside.
All right, so where are we going with this pick?
What do we have it? Norman Lott was the D line. Princely's still there at edge. I think it's crazy that it keeps falling here. And your guy Swinson, and I think this would be about the spot for a Braden Swinson. If let's just say in reality Princely's actually off the board. If we're trying to make this a little more realistic,
right?
I don't
think
Princely's getting to 81, but I think there's a chance that Braden Swinson does.
All right,
is that the pick?
Well, it's LSU, Chop. I figure you'd be more excited.
I mean, I already hit it. I'm just asking.
But yeah, 8.5 sacks. It was mostly in 3 games, I think, almost all his sack production. But
damn, Tate Ratledge just went.
He's a good. I don't know. Swinson's good. I think he needs some development, but your 3rd round getting a guy, not a 1st round guy.
Oh shoot! Look at that though.
Norman
You still got Charles
Grant.
Charles Grant, and he came in on a top 30.
Charles Grant. They would be guard would be the position double up on here, buddy.
Yeah, let's look at D tackle, but
all right, fair enough.
So Ty Robinson, big body guy, 296, 6'5".
We got
tested really well. Phillips and Caldwell, I think, are more nose tackle types. Vernon Broughton, people don't talk about as much. He is more of the pass rusher, the other Texas guy, right? Everybody talks about Alfred Collins, who is more of your nose tackle, big body dude.
Right.
This guy had 4 or 5 sacks this year for Texas. Broughton. He's pretty explosive. 4th round, I don't think would be crazy for Vernon Broughton. But I go back to Greg. Let's get Greg excited. Let's get Greg's juices flowing.
Yeah, buddy.
Charles Grant has been in here. I think when you're talking about taking a swing on a guy, because his arms are long enough he could stick at tackle. But for us, he's going to come in here and compete with all those other guys at left guard. And guess what else he can do right away? He can be your swing tackle and back up.
Yes.
So he's got dual value here.
Kill 2 birds, 1 stone here, Dale.
And
I also think it's a good move to double up on offensive line.
A+ right there, buddy. They know
good pick, Greg. You did a good job.
Good job.
You know what? This is going fairly interesting here.
Now I think interior D line. We're kind of screwed on linebackers, so I guess we're
Yeah.
hoping Pratt wants to play this year.
Well, Jordan Phillips, I know our buddy Divine is very high on Jordan Phillips. I know he's talked about him a little bit, but isn't he a nose tackle, like you said, Dale?
Yeah, and I don't know how much Divine would still want him knowing we brought in Slayton. I think he would also agree that like the pass rush is.
What about Pegasus right here?
It's Peg. It's not Peg. Say I can't even say it.
I don't know. I probably say it wrong too. I just say Pago.
I just call him Pegasus.
I think it is. It might be Pago.
But yeah, he's the other Ole Miss guy. And if you wanted a fullback, you could put him in because they put him in at fullback some. He was originally at Auburn as a tight end, but didn't test very well, even for a D tackle. Elijah Roberts intrigues me because he had almost a 30% pass rush win rate. They have him listed here with the interior D lineman. He played edge at SMU, but I could see him kicking in because I feel like he's close to 290. There's another guy down there too. I think our D coordinator would like.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like, we can't knock these two guys off 205 and 206 on this board. Riley Mills and Howard Cross III.
I think Mills has better size. Like Howard Cross is only 280, and he tested, and his testing at 280, 4 D tackles. He should test in the 8 or 9. He should be a good athlete because he is way undersized, right? No, it was like a 4 Raz.
What was Riley Mills?
He didn't test because he got injured.
He's a pussy.
The semifinal game, it was either Achilles or ACL, one or the other. So he's probably not going to be ready right away, but you're talking about 5th round. And you're talking about a guy who had like 6 sacks this season. Yeah. So he's got pass rush juice.
Let's go to running back.
Okay, running back.
So Tootin, who they met with.
He's gone. He's gone.
Who?
Oh.
There's a name.
Oh, it's his guy. Out. Who's this guy?
Collins. Well, you know the guy I like from Syracuse. I think he's gone.
My guy's there.
Allen. Yeah, Brooks. He's still down there. He's way down.
Oh, he's there. He's there. I can get him in the 7th round. Never mind.
LaQuint Allen.
Oh. You can probably pick him up undrafted, and we don't have a 7th round pick.
I think in real life he's going to go closer to the 5th round, but I think the Bengals will be interested in Kyle Monungai from Rutgers. That's a guy that N talked about as well for a running back that the Bengals should like because he'll smack the shit out of somebody in pass protection, and he's a hard runner, can give you something in that aspect and short yardage and block his ass off. So
yeah. Is ETN? Is he just high up there because of his? Because Dale, I never really heard you say anything good about. Is he just up there because of his name, pretty much?
I don't know. I mean, he's a talented guy who was at Florida before he transferred to Georgia. I thought he should have went back to school another year because he's had some injuries. He's had some off-field stuff where he's suspended for undisclosed stuff this year, even after he transferred to Georgia.
Now, Tootin did visit the Bengals, right?
Well, it was at his pro day. The Bengals visited with him after his pro day was over, and he's definitely a track guy, a speedster. He's fun.
All right.
Not a lot of receiving production, but I think he can do it. They just didn't ask him to.
You know what, Chop? Let's hold off. I think I think Allen will still be there. Let's hold off.
What's that linebacker, Chop? Because like I said, we have basically. I don't know the plan at linebacker, and there's Stutzman and Munden, Jack Kaiser, Jay Higgins, Kobe King, Cody Simon. In the 5th round, I think all those guys would be good values in the 5th. And
tell me about Jack Kaiser, since I'm just doing this whole Al Golden connection thing, and we need an Al Golden player. We haven't got one yet.
You got to have one in every draft, right?
Yeah.
So, because for me, it'd be Stutson or Munden here.
Yeah.
Based on who I'd want. And we do double up at schools at times. So Georgia being one of those, Munden would make sense. But Jack Kaiser, so we can but I still think maybe we fill our Notre Dame quota with Riley Mills in the next round. Kaiser, he tested pretty well. He's a 6-year guy. He was never a full-time starter till this year, but he had a great season. He's got good coverage skills. He can blitz a little bit. He's somewhat undersized. Like he's 231, which is still a little light for a linebacker, but I even felt like he played smaller than that. Like he looked smaller on tape. I wish he would have played, but he played quite a bit. He just wasn't like a starter till this season. Yeah. Like I said, older, so he's a 6-year guy, but team captain, leader. I think there's a lot of things that Al Golden would really like about that kid, especially getting him in the 5th round. So I wouldn't be opposed to it if that's who you guys want.
No, I'm just asking because I just want to be informed with everybody else. Like the Notre Dame effect could be real.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't disagree.
But that being said, like, I mean, if we're going by board numbers, I know this one isn't mine, and it's not yours, but 166 over 130. I like these two better if they fit our scheme.
Yep.
So you make the pick, GM.
Yeah. And Chris, you're right. Stutzman, that's the one question mark is how good is he going to be in coverage? I also don't know how good Smell Munden's going to be in coverage, though. And Smell Munden's almost more like, all right, you want to blitz the hell out of this guy as often as you can because he's really good at it. Stutson did test well, but yeah, there's just technique and coverage is not his strong suit. I don't know. Let's just go Kaiser. I know, regardless of the ranking, let's just go Kaiser because I think it would be the familiarity with Al Golden, and you go that route, put him on the board. You got a linebacker that can at least come in and compete, 5th round pick that might actually compete to start. I mean, that would be a steal at that point. And we haven't taken a D tackle. We haven't taken a running back. We don't know how they feel about taking a D tackle, but
let's get a running back. You know who my pick is.
I mean, Monungai's still on the board. Taj Brooks still on the board. And then your guy, LaQuint Allen, who's probably – him and Jaden Blue both are on the board, and they're both probably two of the best pass catchers.
Well, let me ask you this. So I don't want to shit on Greg's guy. So I like what you said, reiterating what Ian said about Kyle Monangai. So sell me on LaQuint Allen over Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, Greg.
20 years old. He's only 20 years old. He's a great
fucking
pass
the guy
blocker.
cuts my grass is 20 years old, Greg.
He's a good pass blocker, like Dale pointed out. He can receive. He's got the speed. I mean, come on, 20 years old. How many guys do you know get in the league at 20 years old?
Does he smack him in the mouth?
Oh, and Dale. I got a better question to ask you. Tell me what Rutgers does every year in the Big Ten.
Well, I'll tell you what Rutgers has done historically at running back. They put some pretty good ones in the league.
Oh, they have Brian Leonard. That's right.
Brian Leonard, Ray Rice. Who's Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs, even more recently.
Okay.
Yeah. What's up now, Greg? I tell you what, though, man. I think I like that Kyle Monangai, man. If he's a strong runner and he can get you that 1 yard, the reason I like Taj Brooks, and then he'll smack you in the mouth and as a block. I like that guy.
Right there. Refresh me on Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, everything Chop just said. Smack you in the mouth as a
very
blocker.
Powerful runner, can get you that 1 yard. That's what I'm looking for with Taj Brooks. That's why he's my guy in the late rounds.
He's not going to be a home run threat, but he's going to give you enough of everything.
The blocking, like the smack you in the mouth blocking, I like that. No shit on LaQuint Allen. He sounds good, but it just sounds like this guy is an upgraded LaQuint Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I have Allen higher, but specifically for the Bengals, I think Monangai may be the better fit. But I honestly don't know exactly what the Bengals are looking for. That's part of the thing, right? Like, yes. Do they think that P. Ryan is that guy? You know what I mean? To be the short yardage guy,
right?
The blocker. And Greg, we've had that conversation, so I know it's like, you could go another direction there. I'm gonna go find on Monangai exactly. So like good burst, vision, low center of gravity, strong lower body, had over 850 yards after contact, patient runner, compact build. He's 5'8", 211, so he's only 5'8", but 211. That's a rocked up 5'8". Yeah. Doesn't have a lot of production as a pass catcher, so that's going to be a negative for him, Greg, especially compared to LaQuint Allen. He's a fifth-year senior. Long speed is closer to average, and then doesn't generate. So most of his stuff is just as a pass catcher. So you're talking a guy who'll smack you in the mouth as a blocker, get you the tough yard. 5'8", 211. It's kind of impressive, actually.
Has he also ever lined up as a fullback?
But no, I don't think so. But you like him tree trunk running backs, Chop?
Yeah.
He's got them tree trunks for you.
I do like that guy, man. That pass catching ability really kind of makes, I don't know, because I think.
Well, we gave Greg Charles Grant And
All right, fair
Ursery,
enough.
we gave him
Fair
2
enough.
guards. So, Chop, I think you're allowed to take Kyle Monungai.
All right, fine.
And
All
it's
right.
something completely different. So, this whole draft is something completely different for a mock draft Monday here.
Yep, it is totally different. Like nothing on here is. I mean, I think that we've taken Charles Grant before, and I think that might be the only pick on here that we've actually taken before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we took Starks at 17, and that's what the show was titled, right? It says we do
Right.
more of these. We're going to get into a lot of positions, and we're going to take Walter Nolan a lot. We're going to take an edge a lot. We're going to mix things up, and especially
Riley
in the
Mills
first
just
round.
went too, like second to last. What was it? Riley Mills went third to last pick.
And Howard Cross probably didn't even get drafted, so that's a guy you bring in as an undrafted guy. Yeah, he's undersized, but Al Golden's familiar with him. You bring guys like that in here. But so we took Stark because we wanted to go that direction with taking a safety. Not saying that's the right thing to do, what they should do, but I think talent-wise, he's going to be one of the best players overall on their best available board when the time comes to make the pick at 17. I think he's certainly worthy of going in the middle of that first round. And he's going to provide great coverage. He'll come up and hit. He takes good pursuit angles. He's got great hips, feet, all the stuff you want to have for a guy in coverage at safety. And then Chop would have loved us to take Carson Swessinger in the second round
Right.
at linebacker. And we're going to do that more because Chop loves him, and I'm a huge fan. He's my linebacker too behind Campbell, and Campbell has the shoulder surgery.
If he's in the second, if he's there at 49, man, come on, that is boner city.
And he's number 49. It's almost like
he's literally
destined.
he is number 49.
But we went and took Ariante Ursery, who the Bengals are having in for a top 30 visit. And he's a guy from Minnesota that I think can kick in and play some guard. Right now he's played tackle in college. But even foot speed wise is a question. How would he hold up on an island at tackle? Well, you can develop that, see what he can do, but you can kick him into right guard. And if Mims gets injured, okay, I need somebody to kick out to right tackle. I got my right guard ready to do it. That's already on that side. So I think it makes a lot of sense to get a guy like Eric. We actually doubled up with guys that have the versatility to play tackle and guard. So the whole depth of the O-line when injuries occur, because they always occur, have been filled with this draft. So the other guy was in the 4th round, and that was Charles Grant. So he's from William & Mary, small school. Would have loved to seen him at the Senior Bowl, but he was injured at that point. And he's only done part of the testing. He was supposed to test really well, but the testing parts that he did, he tested like he was supposed to. He was on Feldman's freak list coming into the season. So I think you got guys, even though they're rookies, that may compete to start, but they're also going to be versatile enough to back up your guard spots if they don't start and back up your tackle spots. So I think that versatility would be huge. And then we had to get an LSU guy. So Greg got happy with 2 guards. Chop got happy getting Kyle Monungai in the 6th round to be a guy that'll hit you in the mouth, blocking as a running back and get you a yard. And he also got Braden Swenson from LSU. Nothing cool like
Go
the
Tigers.
LSU.
Go Tigers.
Suck that Tiger dick, bitch.
Suck that Tiger dick, bitch.
Hey, Chop.
Braden Swenson.
Because they ain't us.
They hate us because they ain't us. Thanks to Greg for my brand new LSU shirt that I sported all day yesterday.
It sounds like anus. Okay.
But I think
About
Swenson,
LSU sounds like anus, Greg. Shut the fuck up down there.
I think Swenson still needs some development, but that's the thing. Like, you're hoping Murphy takes a step in his 3rd season. Osai looked like he is a player, and that's why they brought him back and paid him $7 million. And you get Henderson re-signed. You've got your top 3. Cedric Johnson flashed. Even though he's a 6th-round pick, he's a guy I liked a lot more than a 6th-round pick last year. So he played pretty well, but now you're adding Braden Swenson in the 3rd round, so he's got high upside, a lot of talent. He had almost I think it was 30% or higher pass rush win rate this season, Chop. So he gets a ton of pressure for the LSU Tigers. And then in the 5th round, we took Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame. We gave Al Golden a guy because you almost mandatory. It's almost mandatory. You got to take one. You got to take one. So we took Jack Kaiser, and he tested well and over 8
quota
score. He's only 230, so he's a bit undersized. He's an older guy, 6th-year guy, but he's got good coverage skills. He can blitz. He can tackle in the open field. He's got good range sideline to sideline. So I think Jack Kaiser comes in, and even though he's a 5th-round pick, he finds his way on the field early. And even if he isn't getting actual snaps at linebacker, he is going to be a demon on special teams. So
Dale, he's our Notre Dame quota. When you have something, you need one of something. That's your quota.
We hit the quota.
You hit the quota,
Hit it.
right?
Mhm.
I would always remember that word, quota. And
But,
then,
yeah.
and then we already talked about Kyle Monungai, but yeah. So we took care of Al Golden. We took care of Greg. We
Took care of Joe
me.
Burrow. Took care of Joe
Yes.
Burrow by taking care of Greg,
Took
too.
care of,
There you go.
that's what Jeff was asking earlier. Like, do we take a guard? We took two. We took two
guards.
guards, two starting guards. One of them is a
Yes.
tackle, is going to kick into guard. People are
Both of
speculating.
them were tackles that are going to kick
Both
in.
of
But the
them, there you
In a
Bengals
way,
like
it was
that.
4 picks right there. In a way, you could argue we take 2 players and 4 picks in a way.
Mhm. And the guys we got can back up everybody on the line.
You know what? This was a very creative
We
one.
have Matt Lee for that.
Dale,
We
this is a
also
very
filled
creative-
our quota for white crackers. So we didn't get Schlesinger in the second round at linebacker, so we got chopped Jack Kaiser in the
Right.
fifth. So another quota that was met.
The cracker quota.
The cracker quota
The
was
cracker quota.
checked.
I'm not putting that on a t-shirt.
Well, unless we draft him,
And if we were drafting, it might. So
you might have to.
okay.
So yeah, it's a good draft. A lot of guys that are going to impact in multiple ways. And even if only one of those guards end up starting this season, they both have high upside. And Charles
Yes.
Grant is a guy too that, like, in 2 years, when if Orlando Brown's not re-signed after his 2 years are up, Charles Grant could be your starting left tackle. And he's a guy who has so much upside. Small school, but tons of athleticism, some really good tape, but may need a little time before he's a tackle in the NFL. So if he can go play guard and start there, great. But if not, he's learning behind Orlando Brown for a couple years. You could do a lot worse than that in the fourth round than getting a guy that can learn behind Orlando Brown for a couple seasons at left tackle.
And things go to shit when I scroll. Watch. Real bad. Watch this. Fucking Abdul Carter.
Yeah, which is probably going to happen. Well, is there Brady Cook didn't go again in the top 5, did he? Like the last time we did a mock draft.
No.
You started scrolling down. There was Brady
Mike
Cook,
Green went down
Missouri
11th.
quarterback. Like, what?
I guess Mike Green's character issues don't matter to this NFL mock simulator.
I think he's going that high, Chop. That's why I said I think teams are comfortable with whatever in his background. I know maybe it's concerning, but Daniel Jeremiah, Dane Brugler, a lot of these guys are still mocking him top 15. So
I swear to God. And then I'm glad Ashton Genty went too. I don't want him being a question.
To the Cowboys. You know Cowboys are going to like them some running back. I also see Kelvin Banks at 10. So for people that are thinking Banks at 17, he could easily go a little higher.
Yeah. And Colston Loveland, I actually think the Bengals would pick him over Warren. Here's Will Johnson. Oh, good. He went to Tampa Bay because a lot of times we don't. If he doesn't come to us, a lot of times he's picked by Pittsburgh.
But he was on the board there, on the board when we picked Starks. But we wanted to go Starks as a recap, Greg. That's why I said I don't think he's making it to 49. Here he's going 18. Jalen Walker, though, Choppy, you're high on him, and they would use him. They would use him well. Linebacker,
yes, they would. You're right.
Edge hybrid going to the Steelers at 21. That'd be a hell of a pick for them.
That's not a good pick for them.
Oh,
Jihad Campbell, I don't like this either.
Yeah, because Jihad Campbell all of a sudden would be ahead of schedule coming off his shoulder
doesn't even matter
surgery.
if he's ahead of schedule. The second half of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. I like this for Washington, though.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm telling you, man. I just how can I have
Bills fans would be happy
getting
Bills fans would be happy getting Matthew Golden, Connor Lee going to the Chiefs. Because I think he could maybe use a year or two, and they brought in that guy from the 49ers, and then he might be their left tackle in a year or two. Yeah. Scorton to the Eagles. Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. I like Scorton still.
Man, the rest of our the whole division got players. I don't want to see
one the division get in the second round. We might as well look and see.
Let's go ahead and look.
So the Browns got Jackson.
They got their quarterback.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It could be okay.
He's going to be in the first round.
Tyler Booker there fell to the second with that next pick, but
the Jets got their future quarterback, Will Howard, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to go in there and back up the other.
Xavier Watts went one pick before the Bengals pick at pick.
Walter Nolan at 43.
And to the Niners. That is such a Niners pick too. They got, oh man, the Niners would have had in this mock Mike Green and Walter Nolan. Oh
man.
Oh my God.
What a good draft. So yeah, Xavier Watts went one pick before us.
And then who did they?
Here's the safety we're talking about. Andrew.
The Steelers don't have a second round pick?
I guess not.
Okay, and Makuba goes to the Ravens. That would be a good pick, man. Makuba paired with Kyle Hamilton, who can they move around to do everything.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I don't like that for the Commanders. Jalen Milroe is a backup.
Yeah,
What?
to use,
During the
there ain't no
second
way they're going to use a second round
No
pick
way.
for his backup. But that would be a good spot for Milroe to
Oh,
go.
big son bitch.
Anthony Belton. Yeah,
Damn.
Anthony Belton going to the Browns. I guess we'll find the Steelers' other next pick. DJ Giddens, running back, Kansas State. That one would surprise me a little bit. I would think they'd want maybe a bigger guy, but explosive running back, maybe they want to switch it up. Of course, Princely went one pick after we didn't take him, but
Sure.
I'd have to take Princely in real life over Braden Swinson.
I got to tell you, man, Denver's loading up on wide receivers in this draft. Oh, Cam Scatteraboo to the Jags.
Oh, the Ravens. Look what they doing to you, Chuck.
Oh, fuckers.
Miles Frazier.
Oh, that guy sucks.
Wyatt Meelam going to the Browns, so they doubled up there on tackle / guard.
And Steelers once. Oh, they had a. Did Steelers have a picker?
Yeah, they had a comp pick. Yeah, Giddens, and then the Browns had 2 picks.
Noah Williams to the Browns.
Yeah, we don't have to go through all of it.
Well, I kind of feel like Tyler.
Oh, Tyler Shugg. Yeah, people think he could go in the first.
I actually think that's a good pick for them.
Yeah, where he probably should go, in my opinion, around round 4. That would be a good pick in round 4.
Ty
probably have to take him in
wide
2.
Receiver. All right.
Yeah.
A lot of
Good
fun.
show, boys.
I like Mock Draft Monday.
Oh, that was
You
awesome.
do? I didn't even know we were doing one, but you're like,
No,
we're doing one.
I'm like,
you
fuck
weren't
it, man.
prepared, and this was awesome.
Hey, tomorrow is April 1st, so it's April Fool's Day.
Oh, that's
so don't
true.
get fooled. But tomorrow is April 1st, so we will be officially in draft month.
Yes, we will.
That's right. It's going to be a lot of fun.
done.
We'll be 20. We're only got 25 more days until the draft party.
Yeah.
At the
And
Foley
24 more
Warehouse.
days, still round 1 when we're doing a live show on here.
That's
John.
right. We'll be doing a live show here, and we're going to have a special guest on here. That
Thursday of the
motherfucker, Tyler
draft.
Kelly. is
Tyler
gonna join
Kelly.
us.
Kieran might be coming on.
Kieran.
Divine might be popping in. The CEO, Dustin Croft's supposed to come on. So
That's a good idea.
should be a fun time. Never know who else will show up. That's just people we already talked to.
Right. That's true. Yep.
You get some drinks. I mean, we just start inviting everybody.
There's going to be drinks in you because the goddamn draft is forever. And we're going to be here partying up the whole time while we're doing it and being in an altered state. This is your altered state draft, live draft show.
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
gotta
start off
be
okay.
drunk enough that I'm okay when they take someone I hate at pick 17, right?
That means it's a rum night.
Or I just completely flip out at pick 17. We'll
Right.
see. We'll see what kind of rum mood I'm in. You know. Is it
Well, if
anger?
you're anything like Greg, you'll just take off and start leave me and just start walking around fucking Paycor where I can't find you because you're flipping out because it's time to pick.
they didn't
We
take
had
Michael Mayer.
I God, it was Michael Mayer, but you know what?
Hey, when Miles Murphy comes out this year and has fucking 10 sacks and he's a badass, you'll feel okay about it, Greg.
I'm shutting the hell up. Yes.
Yeah.
That'll be. I hope that happens too. And yeah, Tina, I hope your recovery is going well after your surgery. So
Wheelchair access too, Tina, so you can still bring your ass to the draft party. And also our draft show on the first day is also wheelchair access.
because you can just
Because you do it at your house.
Yeah,
Anywhere
yeah.
you want.
yeah, on Thursday of the draft, me and Chop will be on a show. On
Our
it.
draft show is handicap access.
Yes. And we'll even have a handicapped person on here, Tyler Kelly.
That's right.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the Browns, by the way, for saying Stefanski saying we believe in Kenny Pickett. You know, so do us Bengals fans. That is a good thing.
Yeah, we love Kenny.
I mean,
Pickett.
what are they going to? Their owner come out and said to Deshaun Watson they made a mistake there. So it's like they're literally just
Watson's
kind of
feeling even better today, huh?
Yeah,
Fuck that
quarterback
guy.
purgatory right there. Unless they take Shador Sanders, and even then, I don't know that they're out of quarterback purgatory. I think if they're smart, they take Abdul Carter because I don't think I'd be sold on Shador Sanders with pick 2 either.
I know, but then you're just like
I know.
fucking yourself so bad.
You're hoping you get a guy in the second.
You have to
Will Howard, Tyler Shugg, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe.
Right.
They're just so, like, who are you taking there in the second?
you have to kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You have to kind of almost throw some games because you're going to be stuck in quarterback purgatory for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And that's, Tyler Kelly tell you the same thing, that the Steelers are in quarterback purgatory because they're always picking in the 20s.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
just good enough to get to the playoffs or almost get to the playoffs, and then you can't fucking win anything, so you don't get the big prize, and then you're stuck picking into 20, so you get shit.
It would be kind of funny though if they like basically started tanking if their season wasn't going great, and they're like, "Oh, Arch Manning," and then Arch goes back to Texas another season, or
Yes.
pulls an Eli, his uncle, and is like, "I refuse to go to Cleveland and play."
Right, yes.
That would just be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, his uncle Eli showed him how to refuse
It's
a team,
true.
and it worked for Eli.
Yeah.
It did.
And got 2 Super Bowls. He's the Tom Brady killer. Like, you can always think Tom Brady's the GOAT, but Eli Manning beat the GOAT both times.
Jeff, you know I'm not coming to Mount Lookout Tavern. We're doing a live show.
Yeah, we're doing a live show.
You knew this. But yeah, Jeff has a draft event if you're wanting to get out and about and not sit in front of your computer at Mount Lookout Tavern. Jeff gets a
I'm
free
not sure
shout
about
out.
the handicap access there, but they
Yes.
probably will give you a hand. And Jeff will give you at least a handy in the
Tyson
parking lot
Anderson
if you show
is
up.
scheduled to be
Oh,
there with
nice.
Jeff.
That's right.
So if you got 2 computer screens, you can put Jeff up at or you can go there in person.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he's doing a live show and he's online, you can put that screen up and then you can put us up. But if you have to choose one, you know the correct.
You would probably choose here because who knows? We might give away something.
Because look at Pork Chop.
I mean, look at me.
Just do our live draft show there. We could do a dual stream with Jeff.
Yes, we'll cross
Like
stream.
10 people. Jeff, you can hop on our stream. You and Tyson Anderson.
Yeah.
It'll be loud as fuck in the background, probably.
You probably will. You remember last year? Well, not last year, but the year we did pick Miles Murphy. You guys were coming to me and Greg in the draft. You couldn't even hear anything. It was so loud.
Right.
Yeah, because you guys were at the Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Tyler Eifert even tweeted the Shamrocks and all that.
Tyler Eifert, man, he loves to troll, is what I
gosh.
feel like. And you guys will buy it every time he puts something out. He just trolls. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
No, we'll be
Just
live streaming on Thursday. Then Friday we'll be at the Project Game Day draft event, and then Saturday we'll probably be back live streaming, assuming I don't have too massive of a hangover. But honestly, I probably will, and I'll probably be down here live streaming on Saturday starting at noon for the last day of the draft because I got to drink off that hangover.
Well, I think I might be off. Ooh, maybe
Yeah,
I
you'll have to let me know.
what?
If you're not off, then I have no idea. Then who's going to come on Saturday?
I don't know if I'm off. If I'm off, I'll be with you.
Well, Greg's supposed to come on Saturday, actually. Look, you can't try to get out of that, Greg. You already committed to Saturday, too.
I did? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff, you can join the stream Saturday for sure, too.
No,
Yeah, we
Jeff, you can't.
hadn't really had any
Hey,
thoughts
Jeff.
of the Saturday stream, to be fair. Not like we've just been like one thing at a time.
Yeah. Jeff, just don't make anybody pull their pants down, okay? Like
Are
he
you
did
going to
the
pull your
FC
pants
game.
down?
Hey, he made that guy at the FC
Oh,
game.
Man, that's like reverse psychology because
Yeah.
the one time that Jeff did get a guy to pull his pants down, and Greg hasn't had somebody rub their dick on his back since. And he loves it. Oh, man. Thanks,
Yeah,
Jamie.
well, Jeff, we hadn't even talked about it, but it's just I usually stream through the draft. The Project Game Day event's been the only reason I haven't streamed all 3 days. So, yeah, I'm probably just planning to do Saturday too.
I mean, that works for me.
Yeah, works for me too. Should be a fun time. Well, good show. Had fun. Be back on Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we'll do stuff.
Hey, hopefully some Bengals news we hear. Maybe Trey
Yeah,
Henderson
we
gets
ain't
it.
I don't want to even talk about that, Greg. I think
Not
it's
even
gonna
going
get
after
done, but I'm done
guards.
talking about it.
Who knows if Trey will even get a deal done before the draft. I don't think they're going to do anything for the draft at this rate.
Hey, I keep up my high hopes, Dale.
Yeah,
Because I'm Mr. Positive.
that's right.
Mr. Brightside.
You're Mr. Brightside. That's my singing.
Yep. Mouth dancing.
Yeah.
You guys got Monday mouth dancing from Pork Chop.
Yes.
Monday mouth dancing from the mayor of Port Chopolis. That's a lot of. But who day, everybody?
Yeah, Houday. That's better than
Yay.